this article, for example, this is from The Hill, and they say employers say that many Gen Z or Gen Z, however you pronounce it, workers aren't prepared for the workplace, a new survey says. Generation Z or Generation Z employees have some work ahead to earn their boss's trust. A recent survey by Intellect.com found that about 1 in 6 companies are hesitant to hire recent college graduates, citing concerns over their preparedness, communication skills, and professionalism. A stunning 6 in 10 businesses said they had fired college grads they hired in 2024, while 1 in 7 said they may refrain from hiring recent college grads next year. Some hiring managers and business leaders believe Gen Z or Gen Z employees often lack the motivation, charisma, and soft skills necessary to thrive in a professional environment, the survey found. And about 7% of those companies that were surveyed said one or all of the recent college graduates they hired this year were unsatisfactory. Now, this comes in a lot of circumstances, and this comes down to the question of, higher education isn't necessary. Because I know so many people that say, like, college is a waste of time. You go and study, you get that piece of paper, and you realize that piece of paper is worthless, so on and so forth. Some say it's good, some say it's bad. I will say this, coming from the stance of a college graduate, that I know so many people that went the university route that are kind of regretting going through that university route, because the university route, aside from an actual technical college where you're actually hands-on, you're actually experiencing the circumstances of that job field, universities are just a waste of time. It's just a waste of money. Unless you're going to a university to become a doctor or become, like a Supreme Court justice, if you're going to go that far in the higher up education, then it's understandable. But a lot of people that go to university I know someone that went to university for film theory, and it is basically as pathetic as it sounds. It's film theory, meaning that you don't actually partake in understanding how to make a film. You don't understand how a camera works. You don't actually go hands-on to develop a short film yourself, but you sit in a dusty lecture hall, have a professor blab to you about what it means to make a good film. And that is kind of related to this article, because if you're sitting in a dusty lecture hall, having some professor just scream verbiage at you that you're supposed to remember for tests and exams, obviously you're not going to have the motivation. Obviously you're not going to build up charisma. Obviously you're not going to build up the competence to go out to that workforce if you're just sitting in a dusty lecture hall being yelled at or being told this is how you have to learn. Whereas if you go to a technical college or apprenticeship or you work hands-on, you're able to build all that stuff. And I was fortunate to do that. I was fortunate that I went to college for broadcast production, film, television, radio, and I got hands-on experience. So I was able to technically understand situations, but I was also, had to talk to individuals. I had to talk to people and interview them. I had to go out to the community and do interviews with the mayor of Niagara-on-the-Lake, or the Lord Mayor, I should say, because they're very formal that way. So I was fortunate enough to have that. But people that go to universities to sit in a lecture hall, just being told to memorize these facts and figures when they're not actually hands-on doing stuff, it's just an absolute waste. It's absolutely a waste. Like, getting a PhD in philosophy is not going to get you anywhere compared to being hands-on to do, AC repair. That's just my theory of it. Many recent college graduates may struggle with entering the workforce. For the first time, it could be a huge contrast from what they're used to throughout their educational journey. Intelligent Chief's Education and Career Development Advisor, Hugh Nijin, said in the report, they are also often unprepared for a less structured environment, workplace cultural dynamics, and the expectation of autonomous work. Nearly 20% of hiring managers said new workers often arrive late to work and fail to meet assignment deadlines. Although they may have some theoretical knowledge from college, they often lack the practical real world experience and soft skills required to succeed in the work environment. These factors, combined with the expectations of seasoned workers, can create challenges for both recent grads and companies they work for, said Nugent. So, but now we go into the roundabout situation where this is the contemplation that a lot of post graduates, post people getting into the workforce, is that they always say, well, you need experience to get into the workforce. But in order to get the experience of the workforce, you have to get a job within that workforce. So it's that constant cycle. It's that kind of, rock in a hard place that a lot of people are going through that is the most troublesome. And this is where I feel like there's a little blame on both sides, because I can't fully blame the companies for not looking for experienced people, especially in dire fields that need experienced people. Like, you're not going to get a surgeon that barely passed medical school. You're not obviously going to hire someone for that. But at the same time, how is that person going to get experience in that work environment if they're not able to attain a job? And that's where a lot of these entry-level jobs just seem out of reach for a lot of people. So, nearly 1,000 business leaders participated in this survey, which was conducted in August. Nugent says managers need to adapt their approach to recruiting since Gen Z is set to make up about 30% of the workforce by 2025. That's next year. Said interviewers should focus on candidates' potential and problem-solving skills rather than just their experience, and encourages them to ask about educational projects and situations that reflect real-world workplace challenges. So that guy makes a helpful suggestion that could be a way, that could be a connection, because they're saying that there's a disconnect between potential workers and employment. And if they take this guy's advice by saying, hey, let's look at your potential, let's look at the possibility that we can train you into becoming part of this team, into becoming part of this workforce, and you can actually be beneficial based on your character, and then doing that rather than contemplating on the lack of experience, which all these people are trying to do is gain experience. In order to gain experience, they have to recruit for these jobs. So again, it's that rock and a hard place situation that a lot of people are dealing with. So then this goes into this. I found this also with this article, that there's also a rise of what they call ghost jobs. And CNBC points out ghost jobs, what the rise in fake job listings say about the current job market. So while people are recruiting, trying to figure out how to get experience, take note of the fact that there's a lot of these fake listings that are being posted online, that are being posted all over the internet, that may not be tied from an actual legitimate workplace or an actual legitimate job opportunity. So here's this. Legitimate companies are increasing posting fake job offerings, often referred to as ghost jobs. 4 in 10 companies posted fake job listings in 2024, and 3 in 10 are currently advertising for a role that is not real, according to a May survey from Resume Builder. Ghost jobs are actually not scams. They're from real companies, but there are openings that don't actually exist, said Jeffrey Scott, Senior Content Manager and Hiring Manager of Resume Genius. That company is not actually hiring for that role at this moment of time. They might be interested in hiring for a role in the future, or maybe they were hiring for it, but due to budget cuts, those roles were closed or put on hold. Revio Labs, a US-based workforce intelligence company, found that the rate of hires per job posting has essentially halved over the past 5 years. In 2019, there were 8 hires for every 10 job postings. By 2024, that number had dropped to 4 hires per 10 job postings. I think this is pretty worrying. I excuse me. I think this is a pretty worrying development because it has softened the signal of what a job posting really means, says Lisa Simon, chief economist at Rivala Labs, and whether there is a truly hiring intention behind what from the employer's point of view, Simon added. It is important to know that while the U.S. job market slowed significantly in July, the overall labor market remains healthy. According to June's job postings and labor turnover survey, there are about 0.8 unemployed individuals per job posting, indicating a tight labor market. Now, from what I've been told, and I'm not an economist, I'm not a numbers person, I'm not at the helm of knowing all this information, but what I can tell you is that the unemployment numbers, all those statistics they keep telling you every month that the job market is good or bad or the economy is good or bad because of unemployment, don't actually coordinate correctly to the amount of unemployed people. That they're not actually calculating it to an accurate degree. And a lot of these numbers are fictitious, or they're undervalued or overvalued, depending on how they want to view that job market. That's what economists are saying. That's what people that are understanding the numbers are saying. So it says the rise of ghost jobs is muddying the job reports. It's making it harder for the Fed to make decisions and understand what the labor market looks like, says Dan Kaplan, senior partner of Korn Ferry, an HR consulting firm. Anecdotally, people will tell you that it's very tough out there. We've talked about this notion of unhirables. People who are out of work get laid off and just can't find a job. They can't buy an interview. Oh, okay. So that ends that. So that is just very, very troubling some in the fact that not only is there just the greater disconnect, which I'm glad that they mentioned that there is a possibility if they focus on, this new coming workforce, the Gen Z, the next generation of employees, that they can look at potentially training these people, looking at the potential of these candidates rather than the experience, because the experience doesn't always coordinate to the job potential. There's at least that factor, but also the fact that now there's a bunch of ghost jobs. And also the fact that a lot of these companies are doing this intentionally to also undermine the feds, especially here in Canada, to do this intentionally to scam temporary workers. Because a lot of these companies can then make these fake job postings, not respond to these people and say, look, we had positions available, we just don't have people to hire at this moment. So they bring in temporary workers to undermine the current workforce / labor costs and drag these people in for scab labor fees. So it's just a snowballing effect, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't have the exact answers. I don't know the situation that we could be doing, but there are some methods we could be implementing. The guy that wrote the last article mentioned, the Ninja guy, mentioned about, again, looking at potential, looking at, people's problem-solving skills, their academic work, applying that to real-world situations. There's a lot of things we could be doing, but it just doesn't seem to be working out, and it just seems like just a never-ending snowballing effect that many people, including younger generations, just feel burdened to and just feel like they can't get anywhere. So that's the situation.